In this episode, we're going to continue our project of attaching the 1980s Western snowplow to my 2002 GMC Sierra 1500. In order to mount this snowplow, it's necessary to remove the bumper. Hardware for the snowplow is attached behind the bumper, and then the bumper sits in front of that hardware. So there are 6 bolts that need to be removed in order to disconnect the bumper. I've removed the first 2, and then there's 2 more farther on each side, and then the last 2 are on the top of the bumper assembly, and in order to remove those I had to remove the grill. And then finally there are 2 bars on each end of the bumper that attach to the frame, and those also need to be removed. So in order to get to the last 2 bolts, you first need to pop off, put the front guard in place. I believe there's 8 of these. So you take a flathead screwdriver and you lift the center piece off, and then you can pop the whole tab. And once you remove all of those, you're able to remove the guard. And so once the guard's removed, then you can remove the grill. You can get in, and you need to remove the guard in order to remove a bolt that holds it in place. So you can see, yep, you pop each one of these guys off. A couple more that need to be done. And then you'll have access to the top of the radiator and to the corners that release the grill. Let's use this last one. All right. Now, in each corner of the grill, there are 4 latches, and each one needs to be loosened with a screwdriver. So there are 2 in the upper left and right corners and 2 in the bottom lower right and left corners. And there's also a 10mm bolt that needs to be removed right next to the hood latch. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm removing that bolt. So there's a bolt, and then there are 4 latches. I'm now working on the bottom right hand corner latch. You take the screwdriver and loosen it, I believe half a turn, and the same on the bottom left. Okay, and then between the headlights there are 2 almost like pins that just need to be pulled. There's no socket or latch or anything. It just, the bumper gently needs to be pulled in order to get those latches undone. Now I'm removing the last 2 bolts on the top of the bumper. And then once those bolts are removed, there are 2 bars on each end of the bumper that need to be loosened in order to finally remove it. So even with all of the bolts taken out, the bumper still will not budge without this bar being loosened and dropped. You can see I just dropped the bar, and on the other side, and then the bumper will pop off. We're continuing to install the Western snowplow. I have put the plow itself onto the mounting brackets, and then in this shot I'm removing the brush guard, I think that's what you would call it, at the bottom of the truck. It's just a piece of plastic that covers the bottom front end of the truck. There's also a secondary plate underneath that I'm taking off. And now I'm using the angle grinder. And without getting into too much detail, what I'm working on is attaching that large piece of square stock to the front of the truck frame. In the next video, I'll get into more detail on how I plan to attach the plow and mounting brackets to the new bumper and how the new bumper will attach to the truck frame. Here's one last shot of the truck at night. And then here's a shot of the assembly in the daylight. From this shot, you can see where the large piece of square stock is going to rest for the bumper at the front of the frame. And then you can imagine where the mounting bracket's going to attach then to that bumper plate. So everything will be moved in probably about another 6 inches in from where it currently is for it to fit. But that's the general. I kind of had to get everything set up so that I could visualize where everything needed to connect, since the bracket and the truck itself weren't designed to fit. Okay, now we're going to look at the pump that lifts the plow up and down, left and right. Okay, so you can see on the piston that there's a lot of rust, pitting, scoring. So I'm going to have to get a new piston. Right now what I'm doing is I'm fixing the this battery charger, because originally I was thinking that if I got this operating again that I could use it to power the motor, to test the motor. Unfortunately, it didn't work. There wasn't enough amperage. I was thinking that since it was a battery charger and produced 12 volts, that it would be able to slowly turn the motor for testing, but it just didn't have enough juice to be able to do that. So what I should have done before I started getting into this was test it as a whole unit. That would have been the most common sense thing to do, but that's not as much fun when it comes to actually making a video. So anyways, I ended up messing up some of the wires inside of this motor. So I'm not sure if it worked before this process started. I don't think it did by examining the inside of the motor, but I needed to get in here, remove the brushes, take out the drive, and rewire the wires that had broken on the positive inlet. So I'm going to continue to take this motor apart. Alrighty, and now I'm going to start to clean everything that I'm able to get to. Oh wait, before I do that, yep, so this is where the wires broke, so I'm going to clean those off, going to clean off the inside and just everything I can get to, because it's pretty gnarly inside there. Okay, fixing some of the wiring. Okay, now I'm cleaning. Okay, putting everything back together. I ended up dropping one of the screws inside the motor, so I had to come at the whole thing from a different direction. You'll see that in a second. Yep, okay, that's when I dropped it in. So, set it up this way. This works. Alrighty. Couple of shots. Looking back at the being reassembled. And then I test for continuity, which we didn't have before. Okay, so hey, to help these videos out, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so now we're starting the fabrication process of installing the front of the plow mount to the truck frame. In this video, I'm prepping the front of the truck frame to be able to support the mounting bracket. Originally, I planned to weld the mounting bracket directly to the truck frame, but I've changed my mind about that. It's a little hard to explain in words, so I'll probably have to show it within the next couple of videos. But basically, the plow mount is going to rest and be bolted into the front of the frame. Right now I need to make some alterations to the plow mount, and I'm using my angle grinder. This is the part of the mount that originally connected to the truck frame. As you can see, I've used clamps and a piece of steel as a straight edge so that I can get a straight cut with the angle grinder, a cut to the right depth, and then I'll use a hammer to bend the seam and remove that part of the steel. Now I have to do the same thing on the other side of the mount. Okay, again, I'm using that piece of steel as a straight edge so that I can get a clean cut with the angle grinder, and then I will use a hammer. Cutting wheel was getting pretty short at this point, so it was making the job a little bit harder. I need to buy some more cutoff wheels. Now I'm going to take the hammer again, and I'll be able to bend this seam, and if I keep going, then eventually it will break off. And then I'm going to use a grinding wheel to sort of take off all the burrs and sharp edges. Okay, and in these last couple of shots, you can see how the mounting bracket is going to fit to the front of the truck frame. Right now it's just resting on top. I have a plate that I need to build in order to be able to secure it to the frame. But at least this will give you a general idea. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. This video is kind of a run through of everything that it took to make these brackets. I used the Everlast 300 ST in between some of the snow when we had a little bit of a thaw, and this video shows me making the brackets and then attaching it to the front of the frame. I also had to alter the frame a little bit in order to get these to fit. Now this is just one of the brackets. I need to now make the second, and then these brackets will rest on the plow frame, and then we should be able to hook the plow up to the truck. Alright, we are already on part 8 of this series of fixing the $150 snowplow to the 2002 GMC Sierra. Right now I'm making the remaining bracket, or the remaining pieces for the second bracket so that we can attach this to the truck frame. Tack welding, and then getting a single pass, and then completing multiple passes on top using 7018 1/8 inch electrodes at 110 amps. Okay, and then after these two pieces are put together, it will get attached to the other two pieces that I have. Right now you can see I'm making the square of the second bracket. And then I took the frame and then was trying to attach the bracket to the frame without it being connected to the truck. This was really tricky, but I thought this was the only thing that I could do because my welding leads weren't long enough to reach the truck. But that wasn't true. I finally realized that I could just, even though there was a lot of snow in the way, I realized I could just move the truck closer to the welder and then get everything fit and then have a perfect setup. So right now you can see my first attempt, but then I was like, no, let's get all of this stuff out of the way, move the truck over, and do this so that it fits perfectly. So that's what we're doing right now. So because I changed my plans, I needed to grind out the old welds and get everything set again. Then I could take the two brackets, set them on the truck frame, and then take the plow frame, set it on top, and then weld the truck or the plow frame directly to the brackets so that I could have a perfect fit up to the truck frame. So that's what's going on right now. I was setting some tack welds, and then I'm setting the first pass on the right hand side of the bracket connection to the plow frame. Thought this was a pretty cool shot with all the smoke. Good point to use a respirator. I have a respirator on underneath the welding helmet. Yeah, I thought that was a really cool shot. Okay, then I go over to the other side. Here we go, new electrode. And running a bead over here. Also kind of cool shot at night of the arc and the smoke. See, I'm wearing the respirator. Now the inside right, and inside left, I think is the next shot. So I'm not getting, oh no, outside again. I'm not getting everything perfectly welded. I just want to get it so that it's secure and fit up. And then I'm going to take it off. In the next video, I'll take it off and make sure everything's welded perfectly. But yeah, this actually moving the truck and getting everything set on the welder worked a lot better than measuring it and trying to get it fit perfectly the first way. So I'm glad I decided to change and go back and try this method instead. Alright, and I'll leave you with a couple more cool shots of welding this frame into the bracket and the smoke and everything coming out of the truck. Thought that was pretty neat. Yeah, definitely pretty cool. Alright, now we're going to be looking at the finished product and how the frame attaches to the bracket, which attaches to the truck frame. And then with the bumper cover back on, kind of just a little sketch. Alright YouTube, this is a little bit of work on the bracket. Alright YouTube, here's a front shot of the Everlast 300 ST, and here's a side shot of the welder. This is what I'm using to weld the frame to the bracket, and then the bracket that will connect to the truck frame itself. Here we have a couple of different shots looking at welding the bracket off the truck. The video before showed me getting everything measured up on the truck, but now I had to kind of grind back the welds a little bit and add some more to it. So these are a couple of shots of the welds being ground off and some of the metal being removed. First weld down, you can see the flux coating, and now a series of welds on top to add some more structural support. You can see the three. So let's start with one and then two and then a third. bead. Same on this side, outside. And next shot again, seeing both sides so you can kind of see the triangular shape of the structure. Okay, and a couple more shots of that weld. I thought that this set worked out pretty well. And you can see it's not perfectly flush, but for a beginner, not too bad. And another shot of that. Alright, and then here's a video walk around of the welds that we just saw in the pictures. Just wait for it to focus a little bit. Here we go. On both sides. Some of these are better than others, but I think it's still going to be pretty structurally sound. And the other side. Alright, well there you have it. The brackets are secured to the plow frame and ready to be attached to the truck. Alright, thanks for watching.